Welcome to Dare a New Belief, a place to discover what is possible for your life after the loss of a loved one, and where you will find inspiration, insight, support, and love, and hopefully a bit of laughter to help you through your day. Now, here's your host, Nada Hogan.
Welcome to Dare a New Belief, where you will find light and life, love and joy, healing, faith, and hope, a place where you get to believe in what is possible for your life. And today I have the great honor to introduce you to Michelle Boss. Hello, Michelle.
Hello.
Hi. So, Michelle, the reason I wanted you on the show is because I find your story fascinating, and I find you fascinating because you started this whole Facebook page after your mother had passed away, and you found yourself feeling abandoned. I'm saying the word abandoned and disowned from your immediate family and your siblings, and it felt like you had done something wrong. And that's where I want to take off with this conversation. Just, what happened? What led to that? And then how did that bring you into starting this Facebook page where you could bring a community of people together so they weren't, so people could recreate some of that community that's in life and death, loss and grief. So if you can just share with us at the beginning what it was that brought you to making this Facebook page, Good Grief.
Sure. First, I don't have any siblings. I don't have any immediate family left. I have one niece, a couple cousins, and one aunt and uncle that still talk to me. My mother's siblings, when she passed, she was the last of my immediate family. They're the ones that disowned me. And I guess they never really liked me, or who knows, that was their expression of grief, and I allow them that. Everybody behaves differently, and I was very, very hurt by it. It made my grief like 10 times more, the fact that they had treated me like I had done something wrong. But that was a year and a half ago, and I've gotten, I'll say, used to it, and just say that I wish all I do is picture them happy and send them love. And I can't, they're in their 80s. So for whatever reason that they felt they needed to treat me that way, I kind of feel like it's none of my business. I already went through myself, and I feel like they just had zero compassion and understanding for me, and I don't know why, and that's okay. I'm a loner. I'm somebody who has spent most of my life doing things myself, and without the support of, emotional support or financial support or physical support from anybody else. So even though I'm a quote unquote strong person, I felt really, really set back from that. And I felt very alienated from any feeling of family or any feeling of, in other cultures and before us white people, we don't grieve, everybody wants to just be like, okay, well, yeah, that happened and death happens, and like, you should know that and just move on. And we really should know that. But our culture does not talk about grief. They don't talk about death. And they don't come together around you. All of my friends, and I know they love me, I have wonderful, wonderful friends, and they are all busy with their lives. They don't know what to say. People say silly things or just pretend like nothing ever happened. And I was feeling, alienated, and looking on Facebook and seeing other people that were pouring their grief out on their Facebook page. And so I tried to gather all my friends onto a page to actually get together, physically, my friends that are here in the city where I live. And people said they wanted to come. People responded really positively, and I tried it twice, and 2 people showed up to each time I tried it. So I just, people are more comfortable online. So I just made it a page or a group that anybody can join. It's focused on feelings of grief, thoughts of death, loss, and spirit. That's and there are so many things to grieve in our society. It's not just death, little deaths, like people get divorced or they get an illness, or some people are grieving just aging, because our society does not embrace the whole life. It doesn't, aging is actually a good thing. That's
right.
not really embraced, where I myself embrace it and put it out to others to embrace aging and embrace death. I don't have a negative view of death. I think death must be awesome, like the ultimate spiritual experience. I feel that we'll be a pure spirit then, and that I have always kind of looked forward to, and we'll all know what that is soon enough. There's no need to push it, but I feel that there is a great need in our society to embrace death, to talk about death, to talk about grief, to talk about the things nobody wants to talk about, because some people have the idea that that's not nice, so don't talk about it, just talk about good things. But I see people on Facebook that need to talk about it, and it's probably better to have a page where they're safe to talk about it without their friends saying, "Oh man, all you talk about is depressing stuff. I don't want to, engage with you anymore." So that my intention is to create a safe space for people to express those things that most people don't want to talk about, but all of us in the group, we need to talk about it, because everyone in the group is grieving something or someone. There are people in the group that their children have been murdered, or, all kinds of ways. Life is full of every aspect. So there's lots to express. And I think it's pretty successful. I guess it helps people. And I love about my group that people support each other. If somebody posts something on there and I am busy with my life and haven't gotten on Facebook, I get on and, several people are supporting that person with what they post. And so I think that it's very healing for people also to support others, even when they need support. There's like a symbiotic thing, a circle, and we used to gather around grief and support each other and carry it through and honor that, like the Day of the Dead, in the Mexican culture, where you honor your ancestors once a year, or you do it throughout the year too. Some people I have an altar that's always up. It's not just for the Day of the Dead, but it's something just ritualistic that's lacking in our culture, but that's to each their own. That's I think a wonderful practice.
Absolutely. And I've been on your Facebook page that's called Good Grief, and people are beautifully supportive of one another. And I think people that have gone through it, and everybody has, there's been something that we've grieved in our life, whether it was the loss of a family, a loved one, or, the loss of a job, or loss of a dream, loss of your passion for life, your home, whatever it happens to be. We all grieve something, but I do agree with you 100% that in our culture, especially, that it's kind of like, okay, like some time has gone by now, and that could be 2 weeks or maybe a year, and now let's move on. Like, we're done with it. That's not how grief operates. It doesn't work like that.
No.
So a platform that you have where people can say, so for me, it's 11 years from my daughter, and there's people that I would talk to, and you could just see them kind of roll their eyes like, oh my gosh, 11 years and you're still talking about her. It's like, oh yeah, if I live to be 150, I'm telling you, I'll still be talking about my daughter. And when you can go to that place, right, because it doesn't mean they're not on this planet anymore. It doesn't mean that it's over, right? I mean, it's just a completely different
connection. It doesn't mean they didn't exist. Yeah, and that they're not a huge part of you, and a huge part of your daughter has launched you into this your whole where you're at now, and all of this that you're doing, right?
Absolutely.
It's because of your daughter's death. Yeah, and it's helping so many people. So your daughter is helping all these people, so she is still very much a force in life. And yeah, people don't want to, I think it's so important. And I wish people would share more on my page or just in life about their loved ones that are gone, because it's important to talk about them, because it's not like you said, it's not like they disappeared. It feels like they disappeared to some people, but no, they're a part of who we are, and they existed, and it's to honor who that unique person was, that they're never going to come back in that form again. You know, if you believe in reincarnation, they might come back in another form, but that unique set of genes and circumstances that made that person is never going to happen again. So it's like that was something beautiful, and it lives on, like our DNA. It doesn't just disappear either.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. All the hair and nails and ashes and, you know, yeah, it goes back to the earth, but it doesn't disappear. It becomes one with it, and so does their spirit.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And when people can come together and can embrace that and allow yourself to cry and feel safe, because I know on your page that is so, and I've spoken with you, I mean, in true transparency, I only know you because of my niece, and I know that she adores you. And then you and I had a very long conversation on the phone, and it was just like that instant connection. And I just know that you have this beautiful, true, loving, and compassionate heart. And that your page, which is amazing to me, because a lot of times when you have a page that's on Facebook, or I guess any kind of platform, when it's not a closed group, when it's open to anybody, that you can get some people in there that, you know, maybe are coming in with ill will or poor intentions. And everybody on your page, it's just like that is the energy that you draw in, is people that are compassionate and loving and caring and supporting and going through whatever it is that they're going through in the moment, whatever grief, whether it's brand new grief or it's, you know, like one of the things that I read recently where, you know, and I never even thought about this. And that's the other thing. What your page brings, it's so powerful, because somebody had written that her mother had passed away and her ashes were, is that how she said it? Like her ashes were delivered to her. And I just can't imagine. I just can't, right? I mean, it's a different world for me, but to be able to, I understand cremation. I know many people that have been cremated, but I never thought about what does that feel like? To now just have a urn or a box or whatever the container is for those ashes, and
they give them to you in a plastic container. They come in a plastic bag and in a plastic box. It feels very plastic.
No way.
Yeah, and then they feels like a bag of sand. It's not light like you think ashes would be light. They're heavy.
Yeah.
And yeah, my mother was little, and when I got her ashes, I held them, and I thought, how could she possibly weigh this much in ashes? You know, but their ashes are not, you know, it's not like wood. It's I don't know if you've ever heard of what's it called when the Buddhists, when they are cremated, I forgot what it's called, but there are actually crystals left in their ashes.
No.
Yeah, and I forgot what it's called, but anyway, we're made, what we're made up of is pretty fascinating, you know, like when you think of DNA and how we, you know, just the matter of our body, let alone our spirit. Our spirit, you know, that's a whole other expansive thing, but just our bodies are made up of these very unique and certain circumstances, and they don't disappear. And they're not like, I spread my mother's ashes in in a place, and you would think that if you put them in water, they would disappear. They don't. Yeah. They just sink to the ground like sand. They're like sand or bits of glass. And, you know, if you look at sand,